Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another fancy fold for you, and this time I'm using the A Little Wild stamp set and some whole lot of lovely DSP to give that kind of jungly feel behind. And obviously it's a cute little card. I've deliberately left it blank on the front, ready to pop a sentiment on when I'm ready, but when you open it up, look at those cute little animals. So I've used all of the animals that are in this stamp set. And most of the other items that come with it too, apart from the sentiments. So this is it here, and actually you'll see that there's a front and a back for these, so actually you can make tags out of them. They come complete with some dies, but I've just used them for single images here, and I've left a little panel here for you to write what you want. So it folds up, reasonably flat to go in, although obviously it's a bit of a thicker one, so it either is better hand given or popped as a large letter in the UK, but that's what we're going to make today. So to start off with, you're going to make yourself a card base, and that is just a standard card base, so that's 5 3/4 by 8 inches, scored in half at 4 inches, and that makes our card base. I've then done, actually I moved my trim out of the way because I've done all the prep for this, because most of the interest is in the stamping on this one. So what I've done is I've cut some of the DSP and some of the card. So I've made a very narrow border, as you can see here. So this is a piece of card that is 5 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. That's right, 3 7/8, and this is crushed curry, and I'm still using the whole lot of lovely DSP. I've put that on not very straight, as you can see here, but I've used one of the more generic kind of background pieces, and then I've just done that 1/8 of an inch smaller, so that is can't see my measurements, so that is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. So that's the front panel. The inner panels, I have just cut the DSP. I haven't left a border, and I've just made those ones 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I'm just using up my fuse here. I've got a fuse that is working. I had a couple of videos where I was having some fuse issues. Now what I usually do, which I didn't do on the front, is I usually work from the outside edge. So I've got a nice straight edge, and I work in on the basis that if it looks right on the outside edge, especially with this where there's something in the middle anyway, nobody's going to notice. If it's slightly more centered to the edge. So just pop that on there. So that's our card base, you can see there, so that's lovely, and again some kind of nature kind of images there with some look like almost like dandelion heads. The next part, I'm actually going to make the folding strip for the inside, and so I've cut a piece of card which is 7 1/2 inches by 1 inch, and I'm going to simply score that at 1 3/4, 3 3/4, just there, and 5 3/4, like so. And then just fold that mountain and valley. So you'll see it's slightly longer on the inside from the outside. And I'm going to stick that around about 1/3 of the way up or down from the top, and I'm going to do it by lining up the middle bit with the outside edge. And once I've done that, I'm just going to glue that over as well, and that makes our pop-up. Next we're going to create our inner panels. So I've done these, and these are 1 7/8 square, so those are going to fit on each of those quite simply. So just line those up, start on one edge and then work your way across, and that way you'll get them nicely lined up, like so. Pop a finger in the middle. And again, I've put glue in the wrong place on that one. You want glue in the middle, so I'll cut another piece in a moment. And then we're then going to stamp our images. So for this you're going to need some Whisper White cardstock, and I've cut some squares, and these are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So that's already 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and again 1 3/4. And the best way I've found to do these images is to take a post-it note, just one of these little ones, and cover up the image that you're not going to be stamping, like so. Then come in with your ink pad, take that post-it note off, and then you can just stamp that like so. Then for the front of the card, I need another piece that is about 7 by 7 centimetres. I think this is possibly a little large. Let me just have a look. Which is about 2 3/4. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, take some Pear Pizzazz ink, and using the grass image, just come across like so. Then I'm going to come in with my bear image again. So you can use the same post-it note, just pop it on, just make sure the image is covered. Again, it's only just to protect that upper edge. Post-it note off, and then I just stamp up and pop my bear image in there as well. And then you can go ahead and colour. And for my bear, I'm using our crumb cake blends and just coming in like so. I'm not colouring over the little bee because obviously I want to be able to colour him in nice bright buzzy yellow. I'm going to add some kind of highlights, shadows rather. So just here underneath his sort of chin, where you'd get a bit of shadow on the joins and on the toes there. And then round, I usually put round the tips of the ears as well, like his nose. Then I'll come in and just blend that out a bit. I'm going to come around the face a little bit more, just to add some sort of highlights. And you can always come in a little bit more afterwards and blend a little bit more as you like. But there's our bear for the front. There's our bear for the inside. And I would do the same with the bear image and all the other images that you're going to make to go on that card. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create that frame for the front. And to create that, I'm going to use a piece of card that is 3.5 by 3 inches. It's always good if you can find your instructions, isn't it? So, and what I did with that, once I'd cut it, I then cut a frame out. Now, if you wanted to use, you could use your square framelits and do it that way. But if you cut 3 by 3.5, and then I cut a simple frame by lining it up on the 1 centimetre mark and cutting around there. So just line it up 1 centimetre down to 6 centimetres. And either down to 6.5, and again with this, round about the 1/2 inch. You don't have to be desperately precise, but as I say, if you want to be precise, then all I would say is if you get a framelit and pop it through your big shot. But by lining it up either at the 5.5 or at the 1 centimetre mark, you create an easy frame. And then what I do then is I put some glue on the outside edges here, and I find that for this a little bit of Tombow, so you've got a bit of wiggle room. And then what I'm going to do is layer that over the top of my image. So just get that grass at the bottom, like so. And you see it's not exactly square on the back, but it really doesn't matter as long as you've got that adhered behind. And then that can pop up on some dimensionals on the back. And that just creates like the old sort of Polaroid type effects. So that's going to be on the front, and I just pop that at a bit of an angle like so. And then, as I said, just go ahead and stamp all of your remaining images. So we've got our little hive here. And some little bees. So. Just need another couple of pieces of card just to... Yeah, I pre-cut all of this, and clearly I've just moved it, so always the way. Just shows that's what I'm like in crafting. It's all a bit chaotic. So these are remember 1 3/4 squares. Easy to cut a couple of extra squares of card. And apologies if that's probably my directional mic makes it a little bit quiet when I move away from my station where I'm stamping. Again, pop our post-it note on. Give it a really good inking. Post-it note off, and then I stand up actually to do this. Just pop the image there. Oh, and I've come slightly off the bottom, but don't worry, it doesn't matter. And then I've just got the elephant left to do. So same process, post-it note. And hopefully I'll do a better job of centering that one. There we go. Pop the ink away before I manage to get it all over myself, and then colour the images as you want. So I'm using a couple of our grey blends here, and again with the blends I usually suggest you just come in along the bottom just to kind of create a bit of a shadow at the bottom, because that's kind of ground for it. So sort of do all of those. Obviously we don't need to on that one because I managed to stamp him off the bottom. So while I've got my grey out, let me just colour that in. That's probably where I'll find I've got the dot. Oh no, I'm okay. So this is our smoky slate. This is the Stampin' Up smoky slate blends. As I've said to lots of people actually, I really didn't do colouring. I tried some of the other big brands for colouring before, and I don't know, I somehow just didn't get on with it. But whether it's just the simplicity of having just a light and a dark colour, which I think is a part of it. I think the other part is that the quality of these is so good. I just find it, works for me really, in terms of being able to really give that stuff some definition. And it's enough shading, if you know what I mean. I do admire people who could do these absolutely beautiful kind of almost lifelike stuff shading. I don't think I'm ever going to be at that level, but I think you can get some really lovely effects, and it just lifts it. So there's our little elephant. Our bear we're using our browns for, just as we did on the front, so I'm going to leave that one. And actually I'm using these yellows. which are actually Daffodil Delight, but I was quite pleasantly surprised. That's my dark one. That's supposed to be out here. Okay, that's fine, because the good thing is at least I've kind of only done a little bit of it. So I've kind of using the dark Daffodil Delight for the mane and for the tip of the tail and for the kind of these pieces here. And then I was supposed to be using the light. So here we go. So let's just come in with the light. Blend that out a bit. He's quite a sunshiny line, isn't he, really? There we go. And then just a little bit of dark. I'll just shade a little, blend a little bit more over these lines here, just to blend those out a bit. And come down the tail. And so now we're pretty much ready to pop our panels onto our soft suede. Again, you could do all four the same if you wanted, or you could do them as I've done, just slightly different animals. This is our little beehive, so I'm just going to colour that in. So this is our dark crumb cake. I've just come on the edges here. My light crumb cake. And then just a little bit of yellow on our little buzzy bees. And if I get a chance to put a bit of grey on. So, there we have our little pop-out card with our little animals. As I say, I've still got an extra panel to find when I get a moment. And then the last panel, this one here, is very simple. It is just 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 2 1/4 inches. With some Whisper White to go with it. So 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then the Whisper White to go with that is again just 1/4 inch smaller. So 3 by 2. They're done like so. And again, you can just add your little fronds of grass with some pear pizzazz across the bottom. Like so. Some bees in the top corner. And again, we're using Memento, so if you want to colour them, they're then safe to colour with our markers. And that panel can just sit on the bottom there, like so, on some more crushed curry. So if you want to purchase any of the products you've seen today, despite the chaos, pop along to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, or visit my blog www.flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and there'll be links there to my shop as well. There is a direct link if you just look down below at the description bar. Hopefully I'll be sorted soon, and I'll be back in with some more projects for you. And in the meantime, come back and see me and visit my blog for lots of other inspiration as well. Bye now, thanks for watching.